bombing attacks in two different nations will U.S. policy change towards ISIS? No, it won't. The Pentagon now saying it will just, quote, fine-tune its strategy to fight the brutal terror group. Central Command spokesperson Colonel Patrick Ryder saying today the Pentagon believes there are no indications that ISIS poses a significant threat to Saudi Arabia. Iraq war veteran and Congressman Adam Kinzinger joins us. Good evening, sir.
It's unreal.
So, yeah, unreal. This being ISIS not a threat to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, obviously it is a threat to Saudi Arabia. What we're seeing is ISIS is establishing their caliphate. It was what one of your early guests, you guys had a discussion. There is a land grab occurring, but now ISIS is looking at the opportunity to strike out. I mean, we all know that ISIS is never going to take over the government of the United States, but ISIS would love to strike in the United States. And that's what we're going to see in Saudi Arabia. You begin to stoke the sectarian tensions in Saudi Arabia, and you are on the verge of, in essence, World War III in the Middle East. Because, I mean, you imagine Mecca's in Saudi Arabia, all these holy sites, and if we see the Saudi government collapse or we see tensions explode there, this is a much bigger deal than what we've seen in Iraq and Syria.
Why do you think the Pentagon spokesperson said that? Is it just sort of hope that this is not a problem, or is lots being done behind the scenes and they don't want to make a bigger deal about this? But they say that ISIS, they apparently don't think ISIS is such a big threat to Saudi Arabia. Or publicly say that.
Some of these guys at the Pentagon, men and women, they're appointees of the president. The president has basically made it clear that I think he's very concerned with mission creep. He doesn't want to accelerate American involvement. And frankly, the Pentagon has to do what he says. And so by downplaying the threat, I mean, it is what it is. We've seen this in a few other opportunities, but I think the Pentagon needs to really speak out about what they're seeing on the ground, because what I'm hearing is it's pretty bad.
Well, we talk about mission creep. I mean, the mission creep is ISIS. I mean, They started out in Syria, then they moved into Iraq. Now they're bombing in Baghdad, and they're bombing in Saudi Arabia, and they've aligned themselves with Boko Haram in Africa. I mean, there is mission creep, but it's on the, but it's ISIS that's doing this mission creep.
Well, you're seeing all this radical jihadism coming under one umbrella, the umbrella of ISIS now. It's a big deal. And as I've always said, look, you have people that are being radicalized, we'll say, in their parents' basement, for lack of a better term. But they don't join ISIS or the jihadist movement because they want to die. They join because they're seeing a bigger cause they want to be part of. This is why it's important for the United States and the West to make it very clear that if you join these movements, you will die. Because people don't, I think you will drain the swamp of recruits into this movement. And that's the first step, but this is going to be a multi-year process. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like President Obama really sees what needs to be done. I think he just wants to manage it.
What do you make of the two bombings in Iraq, in Baghdad, rather?
Well, it's terrible. I mean, they had just lifted the curfew in Baghdad. People were enjoying themselves. They thought that this battle was, in the Sunni areas. Well, it's not now. And, when I've been to Iraq, obviously, multiple times as a pilot there. I went in 2008. There was a lot of strife. 2009, the surge had really taken hold, and you saw a lot of peace in Baghdad. It's very tragic to see this. I can't imagine being a Baghdad resident and saying, here we go again.
Well, they've blocked a lot of the Sunnis out of Ramadi from entering Baghdad because they were hoping to keep ISIS out of Baghdad. Well, obviously, that hasn't worked.
Hasn't worked.
And it's just terrible.
And it's going to get worse, I'm afraid, and very soon.
Congressman, thank you, sir.
Thanks.